Okay, I think this is recording. I will check it. I never know what my phone is doing. And I'm back in the bathroom where I can kind of hide out and I'm getting a notification on my phone. I'll have to see if it works right. But I'm going to have to put my glasses on and look at the papers. These are the questions that I was doing for Jim at Atheist Edge. And he had asked me to talk about Eid, the Eids. There's two of them. There's Eid al-Fitra, which is the breaking of the fast after Ramadan. But the even more important one is, I believe it's done after Hajj, is the Eid al-Adha, which I guess you say Eid Mubarak, congratulations. It's one of the holiest in Islam, and it's celebrating the willingness of Abraham, or Abraham as we know him, to sacrifice his son Isaac to God. I wonder why they never mentioned Jephthah's daughter, who actually got sacrificed. They always mention Isaac's, who, got a reprieve at the last minute, and God provided a ram. So what they do is they kirbani, which is sacrifice, a goat, sheep, camel, or cow, and then they separate the animal and they slit its throat, just like kosher. The way of sacrificing the halal meat is bled out because of blood magic, of course, and blood being sacred, and we'll get into that with the Jehovah's Witness thing. But it also I guess 1/3 it goes to the poor or vulnerable, which is good, and 1/3 to the family, and 1/3 to the neighbors. And traditionally, people reveled in it. They'd grab the blood while it was pouring out of the animal's neck. And Jim said this is, cruel, and it is. It's barbaric, and that modern day Muslims don't do that quite as much. They don't want to ruin their clothes and various things, but they would smear themselves and their children with the blood. But often now they just donate money or buy meat and take it to neighbors and that. But of course the meat is still killed in the halal sacrificial way, which, like I said, is the same as the kosher way, with kosher being blessed by a rabbi. I don't know if an imam has to bless the animal. I would assume so. But personally, I think as far as cruelty, killing animals to eat them is always cruel. It is even when they do each other. I always feel bad for the victim animal, but obviously in the wild, there's times when they play with it or when they're teaching their young. It's horrific. But us now, modern day, the industrialized farming, their whole life is horrific. They're raised in horrible ways and killed in horrible ways, sometimes hung on hooks before they're dead, young pigs, or gassed even, and I guess the gas burns, horrifically burns their eyeballs and such. And it's really for nothing but taste pleasure, because we can get everything we need nutritionally from supplements and such. And I know Alex O'Connor's been talking a lot about it, and vegans get almost militant about it, and I understand, because they feel like it's urgent. And if Jim wants to edit this out, he can, but that is just my opinion. Even dairy farming, I don't consider it as bad when it's small, personal, family-run dairies. The cow gets to have her calf and raise it until weaning and such, and the calf's still probably going to be butchered, but then she stays in milk as long as she has milked. And they would literally come home to get milked, after being out in pasture and stuff. But, because they get full and it hurts. But with the religious stuff, it's all goes back to blood magic, which includes like Jesus' sacrifice and all this crap, the blood of the lamb, the blood, which to me, that's, again, another thing against religion. But and I think it shows our animalistic backgrounds, that we evolved from. I think, as Hitchens once put it, it was devised by creatures that are one chromosome away from a chimpanzee, and doesn't it show? Actually, I don't think, well, I know there are violent chimpanzees, aberrations, but just like humans, they are aberrations. Things have gotten better, though. Like I said, modern day Muslims tend to just donate money or buy meat and donate it and stuff. So that's as far as the Eid al-Adha. Eid al-Adha. I'm probably saying that wrong, but these have taken me a horrible amount of time to do, and I'm so sorry, and I look bad doing it, but anyway, this is where it would split. Jim can cut it off here. That's the Eids. Next, I want to talk about Herod actually thought, there's two lines of thought. I looked up the scholars, the Christian scholars that argue about it. Some go with Luke's thing where they argue Matthew and Mark had it to where Jesus was risen, or John the Baptist. Herod thought that John the Baptist was risen, but I guess there were rumors amongst the people with Herod Antipas. That's the Herod that was supposedly alive when Jesus was supposedly there. He was the son of Herod the Great. But Herod was perplexed, it says, because he heard about all these wonders that Jesus was supposedly doing. And he thought, he named Elijah. The people were saying that, it was Elijah come back, or it was John the Baptist come back. People believed in reincarnation or in resurrection. So they had thought, one of the other prophets had been resurrected. And Herod said he wanted to meet this Jesus. And that was before Pilate, who figured out that Jesus was Galilean, according to the Bible. Jesus was Galilean, and so would be under Herod's jurisdiction, and sent him over there. Herod found nothing criminal. I guess they mocked him and that, and in the Bible, I remember they mocked him and sent him back to Pontius Pilate, who also said he found nothing criminal. And, listening to or reading up about it, scholars disagree that Pilate was even really the whatever they were called, like governor or something of Judea at the time, or that of Jerusalem, of that area. So it doesn't coincide with the real dates or the dates that Jesus was supposedly there. So I just think it was all made up. But anyway, so it was very common resurrection themes, reincarnation themes. If John the Baptist, he supposedly baptized Jesus, I don't see how he could have died and Jesus been reborn as him or something. There you go. Reborn Christian. But some people believe that Jesus got his divinity once the dove landed on him in the baptism and God said, "This is my son." Other people believe he was born the Son of God. So it's just because there's so many schools of thought, because everybody has their own beliefs. It just shows how man-made everything is. And so that's another break. That was the middle question. I think it was 389, or no, 388. I'm probably not supposed to say the numbers, but I've already thrown off all the numbers for the whole series. So I'm glad space-time curves. Maybe Jim can use that to explain why mine was so late. Oh, please edit that out, Jim. But Anyway, we're going to talk about Jehovah's Witnesses. They've got some strange beliefs. When I was 17, 18, I think the year ended there, so it went from 75 into 76, around there. 1970, yeah, I'm that old. Um, I met someone and started studying with Jehovah's Witnesses. And so some of this is personal knowledge of the religion. What they told me, that particular congregation in, I think it was Encino, California. It's right next to Spring Valley, California, San Diego County. But they told me that only 144,000 will be going to heaven, and they're all going to be almost like princes or judges over the rest of humanity. And then that leaves all the rest of the church, the members. I thought, well, why would anybody join? The rest get to live on earth, which will be in that next millennium made into a paradise, because they have a lot of cleanup to do, because during the revelations, during the apocalypse, or it's, everybody's going to be killed that was a non-believer. And Joseph B. Rutherford was the president of the Watchtower. He said that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob would be back in 1925. And he had a chateau mansion type house built in San Diego County for them. When they didn't show up, he took it, of course. And I believe they think that Jesus actually did come back in 1914, but only in heaven. He took power of God's kingdom. It was some weird story they gave me. But this was after, I know there was another prophecy that the world was supposed to end in 1975, I think, right before I met them. And a lot of people, and I've only learned this since, but a lot of people, I guess, sold all their belongings, sold their houses, planned on either getting, having to hide out and wait out through wait while all their sinful neighbors were destroyed, and and then go back out and clean up all the mess. And then when it didn't happen, I can't believe they stayed in the religion. A lot of them did. The majority, I believe, did. Which just, I always thought, one of the things in the Bible I read, it was, if prophets prophesy in my name and the prophecy does not come to pass, then they are false prophets. Do not follow them. I don't remember where that said that, but I know it said it in there. But they still do. Even now today, the evangelicals, were prophesying that Trump was for sure going to win. And when he didn't, he's going to be inaugurated on the 6th or January 20th or March 4th. I mean, it's just, one after another, they fail. And then they have all these wonderful excuses as to why they failed. In fact, one of them, I saw it on Telltale, one of them now says that, he was secretly inaugurated, and that Biden only has the corporation part of the United States, but Trump really is the president of the main part of the United States. It's crazy, all the stuff. But back to the Jehovah's Witnesses, they have some real strong, when they told me, it seemed to make sense. They said everything is designed to differentiate themselves from the non-crude Christians, which are everybody who isn't Jehovah's Witness. It's an us and them mentality, to separate and get you away, because it is very much a cult. And I never knew that until I learned much more about it, these last few years, from Telltale and John, never mind. Anyway, they don't believe in celebrating birthdays. I was told it's because the only 2 birthdays in the Bible were bad. Salome danced and John the Baptist was beheaded as a birthday present to Herod. Dance was the birthday present, and he rewarded her with whatever she wanted. She wanted John the Baptist's head. And I forgot what the other birthday was, but someone else got killed on it. So there's only 2 examples, and they said you celebrate Jesus' death or the day of your death because it means, you know, you're going to be asleep until the resurrection after the apocalypse. Geez. Anyway, after Armageddon, they're real into Armageddon. And they didn't believe that crosses, it sounded practical. They wouldn't have enough wood, so why would they use a cross beam? It was just a stake, and his hands were put up, you know, like this. So they didn't believe in wearing crosses. They don't believe in wearing jewelry, kind of like the Adventists, much because it's vain. Women should always wear skirts or dresses. They're very orthodox, not orthodox, but, you know, prudish that way. And of course, I remember being told, because I was 17, 18, and I was dating one of their, I thought it meant something special, but they're all missionaries. You know, by the time they turn 18, missionary servants. But I didn't know he was married. So, unusual thing. But anyway, they have very strict sex. They're very strict about their sex. Missionary style, no playing around, nothing. You know, actually women aren't supposed to even enjoy it. It's just for procreation. And it's okay to lie. Then, in fact, the council, the Watchtower Council, has been lying for years, saying they're not of the world. You have to keep separate from the world. They don't want you going to university. Just take menial jobs. You know, don't get too much education. That's all dangerous. You know, because you might learn about them. But it's okay to lie to protect the faith, including about child abuse or things like that. You keep that in the family and keep it in the church. And everything goes through the elders, which are only men. They believe in what Paul said, women shouldn't serve, hardly in any way. Women are supposed to be mothers, and fathers are the head of the household. The woman is the neck. She turns the head of the household. That was the analogy they gave, the bad analogy. But they don't get blood transfusions, or a lot of people don't know they're not supposed to get organ donations either. I remember they really emphasized that. You know, they said your soul is in your blood and your organs and your body. And if you get it from someone else, you've got a piece of their soul, or you lose a piece of your soul. And to me, that sounds like some primitive tribal thing, which, you know, which is religion. But it's that blood magic that all of these religions have. Because, you know, if you think about it, primitive humans saw air. You have to have air or you die, and you have to have blood. And so those things were sacred or divine in some way. The Jews don't believe that a baby has a soul until it takes its first breath, which is why they don't have a problem with abortion. Never did. It's in the Bible. They say, you know, you don't even want to make friends with non-believers, because all the believers are the sheep, non-believers are the goats, and they will be separated onto the right and left hand of God. The right being the good and the left being the bad. So if you're left-handed, woo. Anyway, it's a pretty strict religion, and I know on the bite model it really comes off as a cult. You know, and I know it's maybe not as bad as Scientology, but they're all bad, in my opinion. But I think that kind of covers pretty much what Jim asked me to talk about. And I don't know why this took me like 6 months to do practically, except that I felt like I was cursed, and I told Jen I was going to pray to Dimphna because she's Saint Dimphna, or whatever her name was. because she's for the mentally ill. Because, yeah, I've been pretty whack lately. Anyway, I'm looking through to see if there was anything I missed again. But I hope this is okay. And Jim, if you need anything more from me, please let me know. I'll try and do it faster now that I've kind of figured out to, how to do the video. I still don't know how to get it to you. I have to upload it to my channel. That's all the options my dumb phone gives to me. And because I haven't been able to get my mom vaccinated, I haven't been able to get my phone to the nerd guys. And it's just been bad. Anyway, I know you didn't want to have to cut all this out. Sorry. I'm going to have my sister Victoria do one of those. Hi, my name's Laura Jarrell, and you're watching Atheist Edge. One of those things for you guys. I think she's like professional in a way. Or not. I don't know. She used to be. But I think, well, finding out how to turn off my phone is the hardest part. Love you.